Hello and welcome back to Bookish and welcome to Tag Tuesday. Today I'm doing the Wintery Tag. The Wintery Tag was created by Keir over at Keir the Scrivener. A great channel. Keir is an incredible booktuber, a deep thinker, very thoughtful about what she says and how she reacts to books. Just a great person, I think, and a great channel. Please go check her out. I'll leave a link to her channel down below. There are, let's see, I think there are 12 questions. Yeah, there are 12 questions, and then I'm going to tag a whole bunch of people because I want to see some people do this tag. So I have all the questions and answers here on my phone, so let's get started. Question number 1. As winter becomes cold and we curl up in coats and blankets around fires, what is a book that makes you feel warm, seen, or comforted? So generally speaking, my answer to this is going to be one that people who follow my channel a lot probably already know, that I like to read novels by Honoré de Balzac in the wintertime and the fall. I've already listened to audiobooks. I have a Balzac novel or two I plan to read sometime during this winter. So I guess that's the work, or his work's the ones that bring me the most comfort. This won't be the last time you see me use Balzac for an answer. Question number 2. There is perfection on a cold winter night when the moon shines on the snow and the air is crisp in your lungs and you just want to freeze the moment and capture it. What is a book that you wanted to savor reading? Well, this is pretty easy for me. And again, not an answer I think that would be unexpected by people who watch my channel, but the Septology by Jan Foss, just beautiful, heartbreaking, emotional, wondrous writing, just truly great. And even though I was eager to read them all and I read them all really quickly, I did savor the experience of reading them a whole lot. By the way, I should tell you, as I'm filming this Wintery Book Tag, it's about 80 degrees here along the Texas coast, so not exactly winter weather, but still a cool tag. Question number 3. As the world slows down with winter, I always find myself turning to big classics and fantasy. What do you pick up this season? Recommend your favorite and most recent book in this genre or type. So again, I'm afraid I'm going to have to answer Balzac. I turn to Balzac during this time of year, and I've read a lot of his novels. I plan on reading a lot more. If you're interested in reading Balzac and don't know where to start, I have a video on where not to start with Honoré de Balzac, which I'll leave a link to at the end of this video. But he is, I think like a lot of people in the wintertime and the fall, for whatever reasons, and it kind of as Keir indicated here, I think about reading classics. And when I think about reading classics, Balzac is who, and is whose books I think about reading. So sorry to be repetitious in my answer, but that is basically the only answer I have. Question 4. But as the days crush up against each other, becoming shorter and the end of the year looms, one can often turn to short books to quickly finish. What are some of your favorite short books? I have a video again, my 19 good short books. I'll leave a link to that below. And I think I left this book off that list, and that would be Dubliners by James Joyce, his collection of short stories, kind of offering a portrait in a pointless way of life in Dublin and life in Ireland, and I think it's great. I know a lot of people don't like James Joyce, and I've talked to a number of people who have tried to read Dubliners and don't like it. I would say it's easily the most accessible of all James Joyce's works, and there are just some beautiful stories in there, The Dead and Araby being two of my absolute favorites. Question 5. Every Christmas, a new singer comes out with a new Christmas classic that is almost always immediately forgotten. What is a book that you highly accepted, or excuse me, what is a book you highly anticipated but disappointed you? And again, I think if you've watched my channel lately, you'll know it's The Passenger by Cormac McCarthy. What I hoped was for more of kind of what I consider to be the Cormac McCarthy magic, in which he is able to describe in kind of beautiful, stark, oftentimes disturbing prose, human beings operating with the environment and the scenery in which they're forced to live and deal with, and it wasn't that. And what it was, I won't go into because I have videos about both The Passenger and Stella Maris, in which I describe what I didn't like about them, but that would definitely be it. Question 6. Christmas covers. What is a retelling you loved or hated, depending on how you feel about this practice? So I don't read a lot of retellings. I did attempt to read Glory by No Violet Villanueva, which was nominated, or which was on the Booker Prize shortlist, I believe, this year. It is a reframing, I think is probably the best way of saying it, of George Orwell's masterpiece, I guess. Animal Farm, not a huge Orwell fan this way, but Animal Farm. And I tried to read it and I just could not really get into it. I don't hate it, I didn't dislike it, I just could not stick with it. I think part of the reason is that it is a kind of a reframing of Animal Farm, in which it is sort of a parody of what went on, or political situation in Zimbabwe, where Bulawayo is from, I believe. And I had just finished reading a long, really kind of dense history about the African World War, in which there was a lot of discussion about various political groups and leaders and countries in that book, and I think I had just picked it up at the wrong time. So I'm hoping one day to go back and give it another shot. But that would be my answer then for question number 6. Question 7. In colder climates, squirrels and many other animals collect food for the winter before hibernating. What is a book you collected long ago and have been hibernating on? That would be Death in Venice by Thomas Mann. I think I've had the copy of Death in Venice that I stole from my mother's bookshelves when I was in college, and I've carried it around and lived in different houses and apartments and always put it on the shelf and always intended to read it, and I never have. Not Death in Venice or the other stories that are in that collection either. Question 8. Winter is also the transition between one year and another. What is your favorite first book and last book in a series? Or alternatively, a goal you want to finish before the end of the year, and one that you want to try next year. So what I want to do this year is I want to read more 19th century French novels. Talked about Balzac, this is the third time already. I've also enjoyed the works of Flaubert, Stendhal I've read one book by, and I want to read The Charterhouse of Parma, but primarily I want to read more Emile Zola this year. I've only read Germinal. I have other books by him, and I definitely want to read them, and I'm not exactly sure why I haven't, because I really liked Germinal. So that would be my goal. It's not exactly a series, but it is kind of a genre in which I want to read a lot more books. Question 9. Everybody is waiting for The Man with a Bag. What is the book you really want to read, even if it might be a mixed bag? Stephen Markley, the author of the novel Ohio, which was his debut novel. I read it a couple of years ago and I really liked it. I think it made my top 10 list of books that year. His new novel, which is called Deluge, is coming out. I've seen Travel with Stories. Sean Travel with Stories has some posts about it, I believe, on Instagram, and that made me aware of it, and I'm definitely going to read that book. I'm a little bit nervous about it because I'm a little bit unsure about it, I guess, because you know, Ohio started off rough I thought, in terms of the very opening scenes of the book, and then it got better, and I'm worried that Deluge will start off the same way and not recover itself. Let's see, so prompt 10, in Canada, snowbirds are typically older people who spend their winters in warmer climates to avoid the cold before returning to Canada for March and October. What is this genre you don't live in but occasionally visit? That would probably be detective stories. I really like detective stories. I just read In the Woods by Tana French. I love the Maigret novels. Read Sherlock Holmes, P.D. James. Let's see. The Inspector Revis novels. You know, I really like detective stories. That's probably the genre I visit most. But I have been reading more romance novels here the last couple of years, which is to say I've been reading romance novels at all. Question 11. Winter is often a little slower and cozier and can offer more time for solitude and reflection. What is a book that helped you understand yourself better, or a book you learned from? So I'm going to go with one of my nonfiction reads of the year last year, which was Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer, which is just an incredibly powerful, educational, moving look at the way in which we have treated our environment, and how perhaps by adopting traditional Native American ways we might restore balance between us and the environment, and it's just truly beautiful, both, you know, really great science and beautiful moving writing. And then question 12, what is a book that represents winter for you? There are a number of books on my list already which represent winter. If you've read the Septology by Foss, you know it's always snowing because they're set in winter in Sweden. But I picked The Hills Reply by Tarje Vesas here. who is a Norwegian writer, and this is the first thing I read by him. And there's a story in this. There's several stories in this collection which are all about winter and the impact of winter. But one in which a young woman and man are kind of our young woman is hoping to meet a young man, and snow just kind of piles up everywhere. I thought it was just a beautiful and strange story, and that makes me think of winter. And then Prop 13 is to tag some people, so I'm going to tag a whole bunch of people. I'm going to tag Alan from Big Hard Books and Classics because he always tags me. I'm going to tag Greg from Another Bibliophile Reads. I want to tag Rosica from The Midnight Reader because she tagged me to do the snack tag. She may not have time to do this because she's expecting an addition to her family soon. Greg from Supposedly Fun, I haven't seen him do a tag for a while. He lives in Montana. Surely he knows something about winter. MJ from Reading This Life because she makes a lot of tags. Great booktuber, and she tags me quite frequently. Karen the Roving Reader lives in Michigan and does some great vlogging and outdoor shots of nature in Michigan. She goes hiking there a lot, so I want to be interested in seeing her answers. And Novella, who I believe lives in Belgium or the Netherlands. Great booktuber, love to see her answers. Charlie Brooke lives in England and is friends with Charles Heathcote, and they oftentimes make videos together, but I love Charlie's channel. Love to see her answers. Sarah Kalsbeck, I believe, lives in the Chicago area. So I think that she probably knows a great deal about winter and has some winter ideas. And then I want to tag Dia from Novel Idea, just a great booktuber, a real calming presence. If you haven't checked her channel out, or any of these channels out, you need, but she lives in Idaho, so I believe also really familiar with winter. Anyway, there you go. There is the Wintery Book Tag. Thank you, Kier, for tagging me to do this great tag. I really enjoyed it. Look forward to your comments in the comment section below, and as always, thank you for watching.